Welcome to Bricks and Banter, the podcast that brings you the latest insights and advice on all things real estate.
Good afternoon, Dylan. We're back with the Bricks and Banter podcast. How are you this afternoon?
Yeah, good afternoon, my good friend. I'm doing well. Yeah, nice Friday here. Getting ready for the weekend.
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful day out there. We should be outside playing in that nice sunshine.
What we should be doing is finding an outdoor recording space, right? Like, come on, we're at that point, are we not? Like,
yeah, we could be outside. I could see totally doing that.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll take over the cottage.
Oof, that would be cool.
That'd be a nice idea.
We could have more than one beer up there too.
Yeah, we could. We could. Nice segue, by the way.
There you go.
So we talked about this a few weeks ago, about tasting some of the craft breweries that are out there. And I kind of forgot about it, to be honest with you, for a bit. And then when I was driving through Oshawa today, I passed the All or Nothing Brewhouse.
Yep.
So I doubled back and I decided to go back and cash in on our original idea of trying one of these.
Yeah, because that was one that we talked about, right? Yeah, or six, exactly. Because there's quite a few local brewers, throughout Durham region as a whole. Obviously, there's Old Flame up in Port Perry near you.
Yes. Yep.
There's Brock Street and Whitby that we're going to be getting them on here hopefully.
Yeah, there's Banjo Cider that's up in
tons.
Two Blokes up in Seagrave.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot I'm not mentioning.
There's one in Beaumont. I can't think of. Starts with an Man Antler, I think, in Beaumont.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But these are great little businesses that start up.
Yes.
And this is how we started talking about it, because I know it's not directly related to real estate, but it is kind of.
It's like the Bricks and Banter what we talked about, right?
So we're more on the banter side this time than we are on the brick side.
Yeah.
But All or Nothing took over the old beer store that was built in the 50s down on Ritson Road, 439 Ritson Road South, to be exact.
Yep.
If we're giving a little plug here.
No, it's a nice spot, and like from my memory, like that building was left empty for many years, right? It was kind of became like run down, and it's not in, we'll call it the best of areas, but it's fine, right? Like they've done a really nice job with it, because I went in there one time, and it was cool.
And I think
I was impressed.
I think that's where businesses like this are able to turn a neighborhood around.
Yep.
Right. They take it from being just an average neighborhood. And you look what's there. They've got the patio, they've got the beer hall, they've got the bottle shop. Yeah. I think they have their production facilities there too.
Yeah. As far as I know, like I haven't been in there recently, but they do everything, like they brew, they do everything in house. Right.
Exactly.
Which is pretty cool.
And they started up there in 2019. I think they moved in there in 2019. Timing may not have been great. Yeah. Because
when you think about it,
a year's worth of,
and then you're shut down.
Everybody was shut down.
Yeah.
And that was just brutal. So these guys have got themselves a great little business. They've acquired a couple of other smaller craft breweries as well, from what I understand.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, it's two brothers that run it. When I did some research on it, it's the two brothers that run it. Cool. And they've settled here in Oshawa, which is great, because like we said, it turns the neighborhoods around. When businesses like this open up, it brings people in, because they also have there the Caravan Bakery, which is a trailer. It's got a pizza oven in it.
Cool. I didn't know that.
And I tell you, when I got there today, the smells and the aromas that were coming from that, I was like, ugh.
You were drooling a bit while you're talking to them?
Well, yeah, a little bit. And I'm like, we don't need to do a podcast today. I can just sit here and drink beer and eat pizza all afternoon.
That's like, come on, that's like most people's dream, isn't it? Like,
Exactly. So I didn't get the 24. I didn't get the 2-4.
Well, you got to start somewhere, right? See, what I was just thinking in my head is what we should have done is we should have went and actually done like a tasting, like get a flight of beers and, try them all out. And we can still do that. For sure. Maybe after we get the episode up, we'll tell them that we're coming and,
for sure,
get a little free pizza or something,
Maybe. But I'm willing to try one today.
Yeah, let's crack one.
I don't know. Actually,
let's do a blind.
Okay, so what have we got here? We got a Hang 10 hard seltzer.
Yeah, so
which I think is over here somewhere. Limitless Craft Lager. Yeah. And then we've got Take a Break, which is a tropical IPA. Yeah. An American Amber Ale called All Out Effort. Yeah, you got that one there. And then the Cream Ale, which is Think Bigger.
Yeah.
Is it bigger or
I think it's bigger. It's just the way they wrote it. Yeah.
All right. So which one are you gonna try here? Because I'm gonna let you go first.
You know what? I think this one, lime lager, seems like it might be worth a little taste.
Okay, I'm gonna let you.
The other thing too is we have to get some nice beer glasses, right?
I've got my glasses on. How do we need some? Ooh, that sounds good.
You like that? Okay, that smells nice.
Yeah. Okay, good. Let's see how Dylan does here with his first one. So, how is it?
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're liking that one?
It's like very lime heavy, but I mean, for a hot day, it's actually that's really nice.
It's a nice summer one at the cottage.
I like that. Yeah.
So all of this is pointing in the right direction of,
I'm a straight shooter, right? If I didn't like that, you would have seen me make some cross-eyed face or something. That's how it works. I like that. It's nice.
Back to the cat story.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know me, I'm really animated, right? I can't help it sometimes. I'm just kind of, I just do something. I know. Look at my hands. I'm like this. I got to tie them under the desk. But no, that's nice. So what are you doing? You got tropical IPA.
I think we talked about this last time. Not last time, but I'm not much of a beer guy.
Yeah, you're like the harder stuff usually.
I'm like the cider guy.
Okay, yeah, or ciders.
Yeah, my kids make fun of me because
Dad, we will also have to get some ciders on here because ciders are good.
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna try the Hang 10.
Yeah,
now,
seltzer,
I can't see this. You had the luxury of being able to see
yours over here.
So where's that one? Okay, all right. And then we've got our sign here from All or Nothing.
Yeah.
There. See, we've got that little bouncy sign. Okay. All right. Let's give this a try then. I want to see what this is all about.
See, that one seems like it'll be similar to this, where like the fruity notes will probably be pretty forward.
There we go. All right. Let's see. All right.
Good luck to you.
Oh my gosh. Not live, but that was good. Apparently the bottom lip is still broken.
You got to fix that. Actually, I'm pleasantly surprised. I like that. I like the one I have quite a bit.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I think we
could probably get all 6 of these down if we really wanted to.
In a bonus episode in 15 minutes?
Well, no, not in that. Yeah. This is the cottage episode we're talking about now.
All right. Sounds good. So this is nice. I like this.
I like the atmosphere here, the change,
This is it's not all business. There's a little bit of fun.
Yeah, but like going back to what you were saying, right? Like, how businesses can sometimes come into these neighborhoods, right? Like I think that I'd like to say that they've done that where they are there, because that building was left on empty. It was, it was like I said, it was pretty much run down from my understanding, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and they were able to come in and, they've survived through COVID. They elevated the space. They got everything they needed with it, right? So good example for a lot of people who may be out there. Like we were just talking today, I have a client who's looking for a commercial lease, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes, maybe there are opportunities like this where you go for the, the one that's needing all the work and needing all the love, and you can turn it into something really great for maybe a fraction of the price at times, right?
Right, exactly. So again, you're back to tying it back into real estate.
Yeah,
getting a commercial building back, bringing it back to life, bringing a house back to life. A lot of people do that. They'll go in, buy the least expensive house in the best neighborhood and turn it into a real gem.
That's the key right there.
Right, exactly. So just back to these guys here, with the patio, I'm sure they're open and they're probably jammed all summer. I don't know if they have live music there or not. But just coming back to that Caravan bakery, they didn't just do pizzas. They did breads, bagels, and the pizzas.
Wow.
And I briefly talked to the lady. So they do a lot of things in this pizza oven. And like I said earlier, the aromas that come out of there, it's like I could just sit there and eat and drink all afternoon.
Just sit there and enjoy the atmosphere. Yeah.
Get myself an Uber to get home.
Yeah.
Getting to Port Perry is a little
bit of a stretch.
A little bit of expensive.
So it's a long way up Simcoe.
Yeah. The Uber guys don't like going to Port Perry.
Well, I'm sure they do actually, because they're making the money, right?
Yeah, they're empty.
They're getting like a full tank of gas. Yeah.
Yeah, they're empty coming back. There's nobody in Port Perry taking an Uber.
Yeah. Not many.
Yeah. So this is interesting. And you said you were working on a commercial lease as well. So is it the same?
I'm trying to, yeah. No, it's somebody who owns a subscription-based business, which I'm not going to fully shout out yet, but I think there's some good potential to bring on the podcast. A really cool business. So we'll leave that where it is for now, and let's see if I can help them get into a space to kind of continue to grow. Okay. But yeah, and that's kind of some of the things I'm looking at, right? Like you and I are the same, where we do, almost exclusively residential real estate, right? Like we're dealing with, families and, just people in general, where there's a lot of emotion attached to it. So I always find it interesting when I go to the commercial side that it's always so cut and dry, right? It's just the numbers. If the numbers line up, there's no pulling on the heartstrings of people, right? Like, so
no, commercial is very, very numbers based. You're right.
Yeah. Well, you have to remember it's business, right? Like, people are buying their homes for their family and their personal use, where obviously the numbers need to make sense, and they need to be, the ROI, the return on investment, everything needs to kind of line up. But it's just, you pull the emotion directly out of it for the commercial side, from my experience. And it's just, if the numbers make sense, and if everything financially and, all things considered, if it all makes sense, then you're good, right?
Yeah, because I've talked to Jerry Keenan about that as well. Like
I spoke to him today.
I've done a couple of commercial deals, and he's a wealth of information.
Oh, he's amazing, yeah.
Like the resource he has or is for us to reach out to him, because I'm never going to get into commercial kind of the level
that's
that
the
he's
thing,
at.
right? Yeah. Like if you don't have that drive, which I'm the same, like, you know, there have been periods where I'm kind of like, you know, maybe the commercial market is a little untapped. Like I got the burps going over the beer now, but you know, maybe that commercial market is sometimes a bit untapped. So yeah, sometimes I go through phases where I think about it, like, yeah, maybe I should just, you know, go all in on it, or, you know, all or nothing on it, you know?
Yeah.
Go all the way.
Segue, buddy. You're tying everything together today. Well done.
But, you know, like we're saying, right? Like if you don't do it, like I know that we're of the same the mindset on this, where having somebody like Jerry Keenan, who, like, we're going to bring him on here for sure, and he'll just, you know, he'll give us so much awesome insight into the commercial world. But if you have somebody like that, and it's not something that you do every day, it actually is more in the best interest of the client to bring someone like him on board with you, in my opinion, right?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I know my limitations on that too. There's a certain point where you're like, I will do, you know, maybe a commercial lease. I'll look at a commercial building. You get into the complexities of it. You know, I'm handing that off to
and I think, like, once again, from my experience, right? Like I've done some, but I've never, like, I wouldn't say it's that different, right? Like overall, like, yes, like once you understand the simple process of it, right? Like we were just talking about last night, right? It's fairly straightforward, but there's a lot more, as you said, like complexities that from my experience in it, right? That you need to know about. And if you don't, you can kind of, like, you could be steering someone the wrong way. And I don't ever want to feel like I did that just because I didn't want to bring someone else to help, right?
Well, especially when you're dealing with someone's business.
For sure. Well,
right. I mean, and not to diminish anything about the personal and residential side.
For sure.
But if an entrepreneur is taking the risk to move their business, to grow their business, to take it to that next level, or even just get started, they've got everything invested in that. They can't afford to not be, you know, not starting off on the right foot, where, you know, okay, someone messes up their lease, or, you know, signs them into a 3-year lease, and, you know, they're bound to that contract. So yeah, you really do have to pay attention to the details on that. So so what else is going on with you? Because now I've seen you've got
I've been busy, man. Like everyone's busy, right? But as we know, the real estate business ebbs and flows for everybody. You know, you'll have some periods where you're not so busy, other periods where you're crazy busy. And, you know, I think the majority of the time where you're just kind of steady, you know, flowing, right? Everything's kind of, you know, lots of balls in the air, right? So yeah, I've just had quite a few people who, you know, either were kind of starting the process earlier in the year that either stepped back, or just people who have kind of popped up in my network, and, you know, a couple of referrals from other realtors that I know. So it's been nice.
So that referral network works well for you.
Hey, we talked about it. Like right before we got on today, we were just saying, like, I just sent a referral up to Sudbury. Somebody from our brokerage needed a referral, so I set that up. Like this deal came from someone that I met, honestly, like 6 years ago in Etobicoke that I know, right? So yeah, it's just like, once again, the networking, like you can't understate it, because if you're not doing it, like, those deals are, like, you're never going to have those supplementary deals that sometimes do just kind of pop up out of the blue, right? So yeah, it's been keeping me busy. I got a couple listings coming up, a few buyers who are just really hungry. And
so do you feel then that the market's changing a little bit, or what's happening in your world right now? Because I know it's like for me.
Without making any bold predictions, I feel like we've had a ton of inventory in the last couple of weeks. A lot of homes hit the market. Like, if you look at Oshawa just by itself, I think you know, the actual number of new listings that have came on, as opposed to the ones that have been selling and not been terminating, it's crazy, right? Like, most of them are going up and then they're terminating, and then they're relisting at a new price. So I'm feeling that things are, my recent experience feels like there's a bit of a balancing starting to kind of shift.
So pull back from the seller side, or just
like, just meaning that, like, because buyers are having more options now, and they're not, you know, like, every home isn't selling for, you know, extortionate amounts of money. So they're starting to just feel like there's a little bit of a power shift, where the buyers are getting a little bit more power, right? Where before it was kind of just, you know, supply and demand as always, but it felt like for a lot of the clients I was dealing with, it was like we were either week by week, we were being priced out of what they were trying to purchase. Like, the prices were just actually getting out of their pre-approval range, or they were just getting fed up because, you know, they were competing with so many people and every home was just selling for too much. So, you know, at $699, at $799, there's probably a couple hundred properties in Durham right now. Like, you know what I mean? I haven't looked at it in the last few days, but I mean, there's a lot that are coming out, and I'm hoping, and I'm kind of thinking that a lot of them, they're just simply not going to be selling for the amounts that they were before. So
yeah, so it's
some opportunity.
I feel like the sellers' expectations are changing a little bit.
Well, they have to a lot of the time, I think.
Right, because the buyers are obviously, it's not free money anymore.
Yeah,
as we know with the recent
expensive money.
Yeah, it's expensive money. It's back to where it was probably. I'm going to go out on a limb and say 2007, 2008. Somewhere about there.
Probably similar, yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely interesting. I know for myself, I did a transaction last week.
Yeah, nice one.
And up in Port Perry, again, multiple offers because it's a great little property.
Yeah, but
it's one of those ones where they all had conditions. So I think people are back to shopping and people are wanting to have conditions in offers now.
Question for you though, just while we're on this, were they like just normal conditions like financing inspection, or were there any like sale of purchased property conditions or anything like that?
No, I think the sale of buyer's property is still one that's pretty, it doesn't get a lot of traction.
I'm dealing with them, right?
Yeah, that's true.
The one with the land lease we talked about, but that's a bit of a different market, right? That's a more normal, circumstance to be having, right? Out that way. So, but that's why I ask, because you never know. Like Port Perry, I feel like would be, one of the first to maybe show different signs of that because it's a smaller market, right?
Yeah, it is. It's funny how Port Perry doesn't behave the way you think it should.
Yeah.
Right. It's this small little town, but it's got an interesting cachet about it.
Yeah.
And, the economics would say that, Port Perry should be a quiet little town with not much going on in it.
Yeah.
And it just seems like everybody's renovating, everybody's fixing, there's all kinds of things on the go.
There's new builds going in. Well, there have for a few years now.
Yeah. And that's happening. And then I also find too, that the people that are coming in are fixing their houses up, right? Because properties might be a little bit bigger for some people.
Yeah.
Like you think go back to where when we started this podcast, I was in the process of selling my house. That young couple that's coming up, that's buying my house, they're coming up from Toronto in a rental apartment, right? So for them, this is
a huge upgrade.
Huge property,
massive.
Right? And yet you look at me, I'm like, I've outgrown that property.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm moving up to that next level. They're coming in and filling that void of that property. But again, just a great couple. But that's why that Port Perry market, it just feels like it's a different cachet altogether.
Yeah.
It's like the difference between Uxbridge and Port Perry, right? Like Uxbridge has got a little bit more activity, but it's also a little bit bigger.
Yeah. And you're like that little bit closer, right?
Uxbridge is, you're right.
It's pretty accessible.
A little bit closer.
Yeah.
It's 12 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's amazing how that 12 or 15 minutes changes people's dynamics when they're commuting.
Yeah, I used to always forget when I was younger that, they're so close to each other, because I would play soccer in Uxbridge or Markham or any, North Pickering, a lot of those areas a lot of the time. Yeah. And I remember there was a point where I was like, wait a minute, how? Like, because I lived so close to Port Perry, right? Like in Blackstock, like I said. Yeah. So I couldn't believe that I could be, 15 minutes to Port Perry, but then an extra 15, I could be out in Uxbridge. Like, I always thought they're both so north, right? Yeah,
the geographics of it are interesting. And I think a lot of people that come from different areas don't realize sometimes how close things are.
Well, and that's what I mean. That's why I was just thinking when you said the young couple from Toronto, that's why I said that, because I feel like somebody like that may recognize that area isn't as far as, they expected. And if it was affordable or it made sense for them, why not? Right.
Yeah, exactly. And when I chatted with them, I mean, their agent and our agent got together because there was a couple of things I wanted to share with them about the house.
Yeah.
They have the option to work in a satellite office in Oshawa. So, it's 25 minutes.
Nice. Yeah.
Right. But even going back to Toronto, from a Port Perry perspective, depending on the time you leave and where you're going, it's an hour.
That's what I was going to say, because like you would, like, I guess you would just go, would you go like through Uxbridge and out that way? Or?
There's a bunch of different ways. And that's why when I commuted, when I first did it, like 18 years ago, doesn't matter.
A long time ago.
It was a long time ago. You had different options. Like you had the 401. You didn't have the 407.
Yeah.
Now you have the 407. So if you've got a big enough bank account, you can take the 407.
Or if your company pays for it, if you're lucky, right?
Or if you're North Toronto, and I don't mean North Toronto, Young and Eglinton, North Toronto.
Yeah.
I mean north of Steeles.
Yeah.
So now you're into
you're still in Toronto.
Toronto.
Yeah.
Proper. If you're going across like Bloomington or Davis Drive, you're getting there pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like from Port Perry, it's not that far.
It's good to know.
So it's interesting. So it's
start marketing to the Toronto market,
Yeah, exactly.
Come to Port Perry.
We just don't have enough houses up there
to
accommodate everybody.
It's true.
You know what? And that's a good point. That's maybe why the prices behave the way they do. The market doesn't behave the way you think it should, because you've got a limited inventory. And in Port Perry itself, you can only expand one of maybe two directions, right? Because you got the Oak Ridges Moraine.
Yeah.
So you can't expand that way. So it's either south, closer to Oshawa,
Yeah.
or maybe a little bit north. And that's
it.
it.
Makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're bound by the lake and the causeway and all that other stuff that happens. So it's, it's really interesting as we talk through this. You get these little microcosms of things that cause an area to be more desirable. And I think the thing that makes Port Perry desirable is the fact that it is small. It has that small town, historic downtown feel. Yeah. And you're on the water. And you're really kind of, the way we describe it, it's the gateway to cottage country.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, if you're commuting home and it's an hour and then you want to go to your cottage on the weekend, it's probably only another hour.
Yeah, right? Where from anywhere else, right? It's going to be another 40 or another hour on top.
Yeah, right? I show a lot of cottage properties.
Yeah.
So for me, when I'm showing cottage properties, like, well, yeah, it took me an hour and 15 minutes to drive here. But my clients, it took them
3 hours,
2.5 hours or 3 hours because they left Toronto.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a bit different. But for a bonus episode, I think we've covered everything that we wanted to cover today.
Yeah, it's a light one. Like we've both had a lot going on.
Yeah, exactly.
As everybody that has listened will know.
And I think it's, it's summertime right now. There's a lot of people on vacation.
Growing pains. We talked about it. You got to adjust, roll with the punches a bit, right?
Exactly. I really enjoyed this. Yeah. I will finish the rest of the summer and summer vacation with this Hang 10. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people may not agree with me. But
you know what? They're like the ones that we've both had are like very flavorful. Like they're very like summery type taste is what I got from that, right?
Yeah, I'm not so sure I'm having this in the middle of December watching a football game.
Yeah, and that's probably the point, right? Like you'd probably be going for like maybe even like the amber at that point, right? Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting in front of the fireplace on a Sunday afternoon, I got the football game on. I'm going
curious to try this one, the cream ale, and it seems
I think bigger
whatever
that was.
Something like that. But yeah, I think that was fun for me. Like we did a quick little one, and just like an introduction to bringing in products and stuff like that. Like for people that are listening and that are watching, whatever. Like as time goes on, we'll have more of these in. So just don't be alarmed, right?
Yeah, and I think this is we're not being particular on that. It was just something we had talked about. They've got a great business model.
Yeah,
they've taken an old building and turned it into something pretty fantastic. Yep. I can't believe they've been around since 2019, and I have not been there on a regular basis. I will be going back.
No, like I said, we should go and we can do do some video content there, maybe. Right?
Yeah, I think so.
That'd be good.
Everybody there was just great when I was there this morning, chatting with everybody.
Awesome.
The Caravan Bakery, the staff at All or Nothing was really helpful.
Yeah, we just got to go with an appetite, so we get some of that pizza, right?
Yeah. Oh, good. If you get the aroma from that Caravan thing, it's almost instant. Oh, I'm hungry.
Yeah, wait a minute. I am hungry. I could eat.
I ate 10 minutes ago, but I'm hungry again.
Yeah. So that's my thing. I always say, like, I could eat, like if someone's like, are you hungry? It's like, well, I could eat, like,
Yeah. No, exactly.
Depends on what's going on. But
thank you for the bonus episode here. The 20-25 minutes that we've got. Let's do this again. I think it's your turn to buy next time, and
is that how it works?
We're going cider next time.
That's fine. Let's do it.
You good with cider?
Yeah. What's the place? Just quickly here. There's a place up in Uxbridge. It's a really
Second Wedge.
Okay, so that's actually another one. There's a restaurant there that's like a pretty slab house. Slabtown. Yeah.
I forgot entirely about that one. And
so,
I've had dinner there.
We were just talking about Uxbridge, maybe that's something we talk about here. I think
destination.
I've heard it's a really nice spot to go eat. So if you've been there, like you can obviously.
We've had dinner there we were just there. I took my son for his graduation.
There you go.
A couple weeks ago.
Oh man, where was the invite? Come on, what is it? What is going on here? I thought I was like part of the family now. No,
no, we'll get up there for sure. We'll actually see if we can take the desk and all the microphones and everything, and we'll just do
to be honest though, like there is probably some potential, like even at Brock Street or at different spots, like that we might be able to set up a remote setup. All we would really need is the mics and the
look at our little Zoom thing here, a little podcaster. We can.
It's about the noise, it's about the sound, right? So
the mics are pretty good.
Yeah,
mics are pretty good.
Talk right into it,
Well,
that got you. But
that sounded like the 1970s radio guy there for a second.
Well, hey, maybe that's what we should do. Is we should do an episode where we're just like trying to sound like radio announcers.
Yeah,
I think you'd be good at that.
I think I missed my calling.
You'd be a bit too good at that. I think. Yeah.
My calling.
All right.
Alrighty, sir. Well, thank you for your time. We'll wrap it up here. Yeah. As always, your comments, suggestions are appreciated.
Try.
And
we'll cheers for the end. Yeah.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot.
24